SEO This Week. Hey everyone, my name is Clint Butler and welcome to Digitaleer's SEO This Week, episode number 29. Today we're going to look at local search ranking factors, email marketing, and SEO hacks. The local search ranking factor is actually a big deal. Moz yearly, they skipped last year, but yearly they put out a post about, it's more of a survey of the top, or who they consider to be the top local SEO professionals, and they tell you what's going on. Well, the reason it is so highly talked about is because a lot of times they're actually, they're pretty right on. It's just like getting a consultation from 50 different people. Sometimes, however, you kind of have to muddle through what they're saying, and a lot of it is oh duh kind of responses. However, if you're doing testing like we do, it is a great list to start off from and optimize your local stuff and test and make sure everything is working just fine. So without further ado, how about we get started? First, we started off at the Search Engine Journal. It's a great post about the local rankings, as I was talking about. Saying the proximity to the searcher is number one. I think anyone can see this. You can test it and see that that's just the fact. It's the way it is now. And your search results change. You can walk from one side of your street to the other and get a different search result based on how far away you are from the businesses types that you're searching for. If I'm looking for a dentist and I search from my office, I get one search result, and if I go out into the back onto the deck, I'll get a completely different search result. So proximity is definitely the number one factor, especially for local marketing. So check out that in your own market, in your own area, and see how much it is affecting you, what's going on. Some other things that they talked about is the local pen 10 pack or 3 pack. If you know what that is, it's where your three map rankings are. Proximity being number one, physical address in the city of the search. Used to be the centroid is what you're talking about. Now you actually kind of have a physical address there. Proper GMB category associations. A lot of people don't do that. You can actually mess around with your, let's say you have an agency or your own local business, and you have a GMB, maybe a test thing or something you really aren't that picky about, and just play with the categories and see what happens. For instance, we had ours set at internet marketing, and we switched it to web designer, and we bounced up and increased in 3-pack for web design clients, was what we're really going for. It helps. So play with your category associations. You can add a lot of them. Just make sure that what we do is best practice. If we have the category on our GMB, we have a page related to that category on our website. So do that. Just test it, see if it goes out for you. Inbound and quality links, that's pretty much does. Consistent citations, name, address, phone number, across the board, and the same everywhere that you can. Obviously, you're going to have some situations where you change your addresses, etc., and you're just not going to have access to any of these things. Google can sort of figure that out. So make sure your primary data sources, your data pools, Factual, and a couple others, make sure those are right. You can set up Moz local account and get that done instantly. And then your Yelps and your Yellow Pages and your Super Pages, get a Yext account and take care of those instantly, and you're all done. And they're all the same, they're all consistent, and everything's working for you. Domain authority of the website. The reason that this is coming up is because there's a lot of directories in local searches now. Thumbtack, Yelp, Yellow Pages. You can see them in pretty much every search result where a directory is taking over versus a local website. And they're saying, it's the domain authority that does it. I don't know. I think we'd probably have to test that and kind of see if we can buy a domain that has really high authority that can compete with a Thumbtack. But to be clear on this, I think it's really the size of the site, and for lack of better, the financial investment that like Google has in Thumbtack. or the size of these home advisors or the size of Angie's List. Those are big websites. Yeah, they have domain authority, but they're still big, and they're a lot harder to beat in some of these bigger, more competitive terms. So I'm not really sure about the domain authority. If you get a decent SEO, they can buy a brand new domain and do very well in local. So that one we'll have to test out. I wouldn't say that's good enough. Product or service keyword in the GMB business title. I think that's goes without being said that Google has been allowing that more and more these days, as long as you're not getting overly spammy with it. So I think I would go ahead and try it out. So in our case, it would be Digitaleer, web design, and SEO services, or maybe plumbing in Olympia, that kind of stuff. It sounds really spammy to me, so I'd be very careful with it. But it's something that you certainly test for sure. And then structured citations, consistency of your tier 1 citation sources, and click-through rate from the search results. Click-through rate, I think, is probably a little bit more higher than number 10, just because it's harder to get clicks. So if you're getting clicks and you're beating out the Yelps, the Angie's List, and the home advisors, you probably can do a lot better. And then they also looked at top 50 organic search factors, inbound links being number 1, and some more. So check this out. It also provides you a link to the actual 2017 survey. So I think it's behoove you just to know it. If anything, if you're not doing your own SEO and you have a SEO partner, you can raise the bullshit flag if you think something is crazy out of line, or you just kind of you educate yourself and you're on the same wavelength. So when they speak to you about all these things, you get it. You're like, I heard that. So check this post out. Search Engine Land is our next site, and it is called Your Flexible SEO Strategy: Creation, Execution, and Measurement in an Ever-Changing Environment. Really, it's basically just saying, keep up with Google, and manage your expectations. That's really the short version of this entire article. Is you should keep up with the changes, understand that stuff changes. It's a dynamic environment on the internet, and that dynamic environment requires change in order to stay ahead of the spammers, stay ahead of the fraudsters, and just provide the best content, especially when there's billions of pages on the web. Google's got a really decent challenge here to do that. So they have to update, and they're trying to stay ahead of SEO people who are trying to stay ahead of Google. So it's just good, to keep up with the changes. You don't even have to understand them. Just know that they happen, and then know that they do affect the balance of your SEO campaign. Most importantly is keeping a realistic expectations of what is the timeline that you're expecting here. I tell my clients it could take us 3 to 6 days. It could take us 3 to 6 weeks. It could take us 3 to 6 months. Who knows what Google is going to do in that period of time that will affect the progress of your search engine optimization. And because we do it in such a safe way, our way is a little bit slower, but it's a lot more permanent. So you just got you as a client, and I'm speaking really directly to clients in this case, if you are looking at search engine optimization, this has to be in your head right from the beginning. This is my long-term plan, and I won't even think about getting results until month 4. And if you set that in your head already, I'm not even thinking about getting results until month 4. When they come earlier, awesome. If they come on time, great. And if they're showing up a little bit slower, maybe you and your SEO team need to, kind of have a meeting and figure out what is going on to make sure that by month 6 you see something. Okay, so this is a good post. I like it. I enjoy it. I don't know if it's really a flexible SEO strategy. It's just saying you as a client need to be flexible, and we as SEOs need to do a better job of showing the return on investment that you can potentially get from search engine marketing. Yeah, the next blog post is from Kiss Metrics. It's how to align email marketing to a buyer's journey. Frankly, I think they mentioned email marketing like 3 times in here. What I see this post is really a excellent article for marketing and explaining what the buyer's journey is and going through those 3 different phases of awareness of a product is there. I'm considering the product and now I've made a decision to buy it. And really, that's what this whole thing goes into: awareness, consideration, and decision making, and taking your prospects or your potential customers from each of those stages inside of your own funnel. Whatever your funnel is. You can have a 1-page funnel, but as long as you're saying, hey, leads, you gather the leads, you show them what it is and what the problem it solves, and tell another customer, then that's fine. It's what? A landing page, the sales page, and a cart. There's your funnel. And really, this is just, it says email, but as you go through this entire article, you see that it's talking about that 3-step process. And then you use your head to apply that to an email marketing campaign. So I'm aware of you. You found me on the internet, and I signed up for your email marketing list. Now I'm going to use my email marketing list to take you through the other phases, the consideration phase and the buyer's phase. And really, that's what this is saying. I think it's a good article. It's very well written. Illustrations go with it really well. This takes a little bit of time to read, but I think it's well worth it. The next one is from Marketing Land, is local search ranking factors. What's working? This is a podcast, and this is with Darren Shaw. It's actually really good. I sat there and listened to the entire thing. I posted it on our blog page as well, since they host their podcast on SoundCloud. So you don't have to leave Digitaleer if you don't want to. But you certainly can come check out their site and give them some little bit of love. It's 38 minutes and just saying what they got out of it, their opinions and insights. I invite you, just go ahead and listen to it. You can compare it to stuff that, I say or you hear from your favorite guru, quote unquote, and just kind of bounce it off and make a decision, an educated decision on your own, where you think you should be focusing your SEO. That's what I do. I learn from everybody and I apply a little bit of everything in my own marketing plans. That way I'm not relying on, X, Y, or Z as a sole source of my content. So check it out. Next is smallbusinesstrends.com. And this one is your ugly website is costing your business big time. I like the concept. If you're saying that an ugly website is not good for you, but I've seen plenty of ugly websites where I know it's making the creators millions a year on these ugly websites. I think it should be more entitled to is your poorly designed website. And they knew it. And they used the clickbait title. It actually worked. You see, they got a lot of shares for it. But really, it's if your site is not designed with the users in mind and carrying them through the buying process, that is where you're just going to have problems. You're just going to run into problems through the entire thing. So make a site. If you want to make a pretty site, make a pretty site as long as your users can convert it. If you want to make an ugly site, make an ugly site as long as your users can use it. And thinking of it that way, test out different looks and stuff, but don't forget the user when you're making design choices. Remember, these are your websites. They're your online business cards. Nothing more, nothing less. Take all the emotion out of it. Take you out of it, because the site is not designed for you, the business owner. It is designed for your customers. And if your customers come to it and they don't like it, it doesn't matter if you think it's the greatest thing since sliced bread. This is all there is to it. We're going to stay with small business trends, and we're going to look at 20 YouTube video ideas to put in your small business channel. Really, I think, honestly, with YouTube or any video platform, it's just hard to come up with new topics, especially if you're in a small business space. You're like, what am I going to make a video about? If you're a plumber, you can go through and do the 10 most common jobs that you are always doing. Here's how to do them. And this is why it's hard. It takes 3 or 4 hours. I'm trained to do it, and I can do it in 15, 20 minutes. Those kind of videos would be great. Eventually, you're going to run out. And then you got to get a little creative, especially if you rely on video marketing for a lot of your website traffic or your word of mouth stuff. So here's 20 cool ideas. I've seen some of these product announcements, in-action videos, product explanations, some comparison videos, mini movies. If you're if you have, I don't know, maybe you have a college near you that has a video productions kind of group thing, and you host a video competition to make the best video promoting your brand or your business. I don't know, that'd be pretty cool to try out. Special offers videos, customer stories. Some of your customers may like to get highlighted on a video and talk about your business. You never know. You can find a couple brand evangelists that'll do that for you. Milestones, how-to videos. I love how-to videos. Those are probably the easiest, best things for you to do. And tips videos work very well as discussion videos. Check it out. There's 20 ideas in here. I think you're going to come away with at least one or two that you can go, hey, I can make those. Next, we're going to go to ducttapemarketing.com, and it's titled How to Get Found Using Ever-Changing Local SEO Tactics. Ha! Notice the trend here. Local SEO, local SEO, local SEO. This is a podcast. It's actually great. Basically, it's Mike Blumenthal, and he's talking about, why did they make Google My Business? What are some factors that he thinks are local ranking factors? And then what he thinks the Google 3-pack might look like 3 to 6 months from now. And there's some other information in here. Particularly, I like his thoughts on why the words used in Google reviews are important for your ranking. So if you're asking for people to rank your, I'll just stick with us, say your SEO agency, ask them to use the terms SEO in their search engine optimization, ranking a website, that kind of stuff inside of their reviews because it's important. And you can listen to Mike and kind of get his thoughts on why he thinks it's important. It's pretty good. It's nice. It's not a horribly long episode. I think you'll enjoy it. The next post is sitepoint.com. It's SEO hacks for developers. It's pretty good. Talks about AMP. You already know my thoughts on AMP. Local businesses, probably not so much. Information marketers, you should have AMP on your websites. The cut and dry of my argument. Search entity optimization. You get that nice cool picture thing right here with your profiles, YouTube, Facebook, etc. It's different. Keep in mind, this is different than your local business, same as listings. So your organization, your search entity optimization stuff should be your organization. And then your schema, your local business JSON markup should be your same as. As an example, if you're using WordPress and you have Yoast turned on, I used to be a big proponent of leaving all that stuff blank because I manually write my schema. But now I'm like, why am I doing that? I'm just adding so much work when Yoast takes care of the search entity stuff for me by filling in the Twitter profile, Facebook profile, YouTube, Pinterest, and Google Plus inside of Yoast. That is taking care of all this stuff where you search for your brand name and you see these profiles inside of your when you're searching your brand name in the knowledge graph, I guess is what it's called over on the right hand side there. So leverage that. If you are not a WordPress user, there is WooRank's metadata tool. It'll write all it for you and just drop that in your header and you're done. Site-wide and you're done. And then use Semantic Web to identify your local business stuff, which is your schema, which is different because in your schema and your local business, you're saying, I'm a local business, I am a plumber, and these are my other sites, my other listings, and this is the same as my business for this Yelp page, this Super Pages, this Yellow Pages, etc. And that's where same as comes in really well in the local business schema. Two different things that kind of get confusing sometimes for a lot of people. And I also say switch to HTTPS. It's free now, and most decent hosts have a integration. cPanel actually created it, set it up. It's integrated with Let's Encrypt. I have Auto SSL on my host. All we did was set it up once. Anytime we add a new site, we just boom, and it goes through and gives us a brand new SSL certificate every 90 days, all for free. So check it out. There's no reason not to be using HTTPS at this point in time. And then finally, optimize your pages or your images. I gave some things here, some tools to scrub extra stuff like EXIF data. I use EXIF data offsite. I don't use it on site, so I kind of agree that you should scrub that off of your website. But like your Google Plus, Google My Business listings, Google Photos, all that stuff, have the EXIF data in the photo that you upload there, and then have another plugin to kind of strip it off of your WordPress site is what I use. We use WordPress almost exclusively. So WP Smush Pro is how we do it, and it rips off the EXIF, all the other stuff, and makes our images smaller. But optimize them as much as you can inside of Photoshop before we even get to that point. That way everything works a little bit better. And that's it for this post. We'll go to HubSpot. The decline of organic Facebook reach and how to outsmart the algorithm. First, the decline of organic Facebook reach happened probably about 2 years ago, or maybe even more than that. So 2014 is when people started going, hey, what's up? Basically, what they did is, in order to clean, quote unquote, clean your news feed, they removed the posts showing from pages that you liked. A lot of marketers aren't dumb. Is what they figured out is basically, hey, you make me pay for likes, and now you're making me pay to have those people who liked my page see my posts. So essentially, I have paid twice in order to promote my business, and people are, marketers just kind of figured it out. Duh. So what this post does is kind of goes over some things you can do to ask your followers, the people who are liking your page, to actually interact with your page a lot more. Keep the engagement up. If they engage with your post on your page, then every time you post, you're going to see it. And the more that they engage, the more they're going to see it naturally in their news feed. Again, it's not always that cut and dry. If I post 3 or 4 pages or a post on my page, maybe a quarter of those people will even see it. And now I drive an ad to it, and then my next post, no matter how much engagement I get the same numbers as the last time, because Facebook wants me to pay for ads. And this kind of shows you some things that you can do to make people whitelist essentially your posts. Show them where they can go inside of Facebook to actually see your pages, and how they can manually see first if they're following your pages. Honestly, I think I've done it to maybe 4 pages in total. Nobody really puts out that good of content where I want to go through and do all that extra stuff. So in short, sorry HubSpot, but if you want your Facebook pages seen, you're going to have to pay for ads. That's the way it is. Or make a cool Facebook group and give out great information inside of there, and then you won't have to pay for ads, and everyone comes to your groups until they make group notifications paid to you. So hope they don't figure that one out. All right, the last site for this week is Search Engine Land, and here's a script to stop ads from showing next to offensive videos. As you know, big uproar. Social justice warriors are winning on the internet right now. It's just the way it is. At least in their own minds, because they make a big uproar on the internet, and now all of a sudden X, Y, and Z is a big horrible deal, and you're a bad person because you parked your car in the lawn and you killed the grass, and these 500,000 people or 5,000 people all agreed, and they happen to get the attention of some reporter who wants to make out a news story because there's nothing else more important happening in the world. And honestly, I think what advertisers were doing is keeping eye out for things that could trigger the social justice warriors. And they found that Google was showing their ads. Like, let's say you were doing an ad for auto insurance, and you're paying for that, and someone looks at some stuff in relation to cars and buying some cars and stuff, and they get to a video that would be, any common sense person will say, hey, that's offensive. Like literally bad stuff, like Nazi videos and race hating crap that you see all over the internet these days, because the internet is anonymous and you can be an internet tough guy and do whatever you want. Well, those kind of videos were getting their ads shown on them as well. So there's no way inside of the platform to stop that from happening without monitoring all the time. And advertisers are like, fine, we're just going to pull our ads off there and you're not going to show it until you fix this. So they're, give it credit to Google. They're not censoring videos. No matter how much the a-hole is that made the video, they're not going to censor it. It's freedom of speech. It's their right to be a dick. Welcome to America. If you don't like it, then go to Russia or China, I guess. But that's the way it is. So, and what they're doing is their AdWords team helped make the script possible to support video campaigns. And you throw this in your AdWords campaign system, and you play with it, and it helps you weed out the bad places that your videos might be showing. It makes it a little bit easier for you to facilitate that. It's pretty good. I have not personally tested it yet. As a matter of fact, I haven't used any scripts in AdWords, but it's certainly something that you should check out. We're going to try it, see what happens. Fire up a couple AdWords video campaigns. Nothing major. I don't think it's going to be to the point where a script would be needed, but if you're spending a lot of money in YouTube ads and you just don't want to show your videos on the local KKK branch welcome video, then try this thing out. I think you'll enjoy it. From what I've seen, also the learning curve's pretty short. You can find places that'll help you out on how to integrate this thing. So, without further ado, I think that's the end of episode 29 for SEO this week. I'd like to thank you very much for listening. I appreciate it. I hope the audio is a lot better. Brand new microphone, new pop filter. I think it's pretty cool. So, with that, I leave you for another week of enjoyable marketing, and I hope you have a good, profitable time. Bye.